Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you my top 5 landing spots for Myles Garrett since he just requested a trade today. So first off, we're going to start with the honorable mentions. We have the Packers, the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Bears, the Colts, and the Falcons. These teams, I don't think they're probably not going to make a trade, but they could. The Packers, if he wants to go to a contender, the Packers, the Chiefs, and the Broncos. Packers and Broncos, they could really use pass rush help, but I don't know if Myles Garrett makes them a Super Bowl team. Maybe the Packers, their defense would be such improved with Myles Garrett, and they have to give up like 2 first-round picks. I think the Packers could do it, and maybe that move them over the edge. I don't think their problem was pass rush in the playoffs. But then the Broncos, they could use their defense was already great. If you have Myles Garrett, it's probably the best defense in the NFL. So I think Myles Garrett would be a great addition for them. But I don't know if they make him like a Super Bowl contender, and that's where he wants to go. The Chiefs, that would make them even more of a Super Bowl contender next season, and it would make their defense a lot better. But they don't like paying a lot of money for edge rushers and stuff, and I don't think they would do that and pay all this money for a old edge rusher in Myles Garrett and give up that 2 first-round picks, which you need at least 2 first-round picks, probably more, because they have bad first-round picks, late ones. So yeah, I don't think that the Myles Garrett, the Chiefs would get Myles Garrett. Colts and Bears and Falcons, these teams didn't make the playoffs, and if they add Myles Garrett, their defense would be a lot better. The Bears are probably the best defense in the NFL, and like the Broncos, and all they would need is to upgrade the offensive line, and then they could be a scary team with all those weapons. Then the Falcons, I mean, they need edge rusher. Myles Garrett's an edge rusher. That'd make their defense a lot better, and they'd probably make the playoffs. All these teams would make the playoffs on this side if they had Myles Garrett, I would think. The Colts need another pass rusher, just something else on defense. But I just don't think Myles Garrett want to go to those 3 teams. But he makes a lot of sense for them. Now, here are the real teams, and I'm tell you what I think they would give up. The Niners, because the 11th pick is such a valuable pick, I don't know if you have to give up 2 first-round picks. I think it would be the 11th, the 2nd, and a 4th-round pick. Maybe you might have to give up more, maybe like a 3rd instead of the 4th. But I think that would be about the trade package. And then the Niners would get Myles Garrett. Maybe they have to give up another player, whatever it is. Maybe instead of the 2nd and the 4th, you give up Debo or something. But yeah, I like him for the Niners. That makes their pass rush the best in the NFL with Nick Bosa and Myles Garrett last season. I think their defense was a big problem late in games. And I think Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, and Javon Hargraves make that front four very good. They always have great linebackers, and that secondary, if they would retain Tre'Davious Ward, would also be great. So I think that makes their defense go back to what it used to be in their prime. So I like that for the Niners. Now the Bucks, they need someone else on the edge, some more edge presence there to help Via Veda and all their players. So I think what the Bucks have to give up is the 19th pick and another first-round pick, since their first-round pick isn't like as good as the Niners, which is the 11th. It's the 19th, and their second-round pick wouldn't be as good. So I think you need 2 first-round picks and give up Logan Hall, a talented guy they drafted a few years ago, who, if you get Myles Garrett, you're fine letting him go. I think this make the Bucks defense a lot better. Todd Bowles is a defensive head coach, and they won the Super Bowl with Tom Brady when they had that great pass rush, and I think this would make their pass rush even better with their great defensive tackles, Myles Garrett and Joe Tryon, who can develop into maybe a number 2 edge. But if you have a number 3 edge next to Myles Garrett, that's fine with the defensive tackles. So I like this for the Bucks. Now for the Commanders, I think the Commanders would get a lot better if they got Myles Garrett. They would have to go up a little bit more, I think, because their first-round picks are much later. But they're at 3 because I think they're probably one of the most likely teams to get him. Their defense didn't have a lot of talent, and Dan Quinn's a defensive head coach, and he would love to get Myles Garrett, a great defensive player, can rush the passer, and the Commanders' defense was the problem last season, mainly the secondary, but it doesn't hurt getting better at pass rush. But they would have to give up 2 first-round picks, a fourth, and probably Daron Payne. They just drafted the what's his face, the pass rusher I can't say his, I don't know, I forget his name, but he's a defensive tackle they might want to play. And if you can get Myles Garrett and give up Daron Payne, you're fine with that. See, Daron Payne made that defense look a lot worse when the Eagles scored 7 touchdowns that run defense. But I think it's fine. And Jazon Newton, I think his name is, should improve. So I like that for the Commanders a lot. Now we're getting down to the last 2 teams. We have the Bills. And I think the Bills are up here because if he wants to go to a Super Bowl contender, the Bills are obviously that. They just lost in the AFC Championship game. And I think with that defense, the Bills, and they have late first-round picks. So you have to give up 2 first-round picks, probably a 4th-round pick, and maybe something else. I don't know. Maybe a 2nd-round pick on top of that. And then the Bills get Myles Garrett. If I have them having less than the Commanders because I think if Myles Garrett really wants to go to a Super Bowl contender, a team like the Bills will have to give up less. Because if he says, I'm only going to like the Bills or something, obviously it'd be less than what the Commanders give up. Maybe they have to give up a 2nd if the other team give up more, but this is just theoretical what the Browns could get for Myles Garrett. So I like this a lot for the Bills. And yeah, defense gets a lot better, and they would help this year if their pass rushers they had Myles Garrett because they got the quarterback better. Maybe they trade Von Miller. I just like this a lot for the Bills. That's why they're 2. Now, the Lions. I think they're the most likely landing spot because they badly need edge rushers, defensive players. Their defense was terrible. And if you get Myles Garrett, Jaden Daniels is not going to run all over you. If Aiden Hutchinson and Myles Garrett, if they're both healthy, you have the best pass rushing unit in the NFL, and it would be pretty hard to stop that. The only one that's close would be Nick Bosa and Myles Garrett, but Aiden Hutchinson looked like a dog before he got injured. But I think you have to give up 2 first-round picks, a 4th-round pick, and probably Levon Owazioke, whatever his name is. A defensive tackle, the Browns need that. 2 first-round picks and a 4th. That'll probably get you it, Myles Garrett. And that's worth it for the Lions because they draft late in the drafts anyway. Maybe it's a 3rd instead of a 4th. Even that would be worth it. Even a 2nd I would do because he's just that good, and it would help your defense just that much more. And the Ravens, I think, need another pass rusher, but they're in the division, so I didn't even have them in the honorable mentions. So, thank you for watching. That's trading spots I think Myles Garrett could go to. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video, and have a great day.